Welcome to Agfinity's 2021 virtual annual meeting. I am Kent Kalsovic, Chairman of the Board.
And I'm Jason Bransel, Agfinity's President and CEO. Thank you for joining us for this year's virtual annual meeting. We are excited to provide our report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021. But today isn't just about reporting on the numbers or looking back at last year's results. It is also about looking forward, and we will share some of our views on the future throughout today's meeting.
Due to the pandemic, our focus on safety and the uncertainty around the public gatherings as we were planning for this year's meeting, we decided this is the best way for us to engage with our members and business partners again this year. We do remain optimistic, and we look forward to seeing you at cooperative events that we will hold in person, and we have plenty of those on the docket for 2022.
Member interaction is extremely important to us, which is why we provided an opportunity to send in your questions when you registered to attend this virtual annual meeting. We have received your questions and have posted them, along with our answers, on the Agfinity website for all members to see. A big part of the cooperative difference is that members have a voice in matters pertaining to their cooperative. When you have questions and feedback about your cooperative, always feel free to reach out to us.
Today's program contains many traditional elements of a cooperative annual meeting, such as providing the minutes from last year's annual meeting, our nominating committee report, the director elections, a board chairman report, a CEO report, and of course, a financial report. But once again, we thank you for joining us today, and we'll get started.
Legacy. Legacy has many definitions. To us, legacy is the mark one left on the world measured in grit, gratitude, and impact. Our founders were certainly not short in any of these qualities, and their impact can be felt in our local communities to this very day. Today, our passion continues to be helping farmers feed the world.
So we are at Bella Holstein's. This is our family farm. I am third generation. My dad and my grandpa started it. I've been back here working for 15 years, and we're milking 3,100 cows and continuing to grow for the future.
We understand that this work matters. We live it and we share it with anyone who may benefit from it, because that's how we attract the right team members, cooperative partnerships, and opportunities. And that's how we build something sustainable that will last for another 115 plus years.
My name is Richard Empson. I am a sales account manager with Agfinity. I manage key accounts and strategic partnerships in Agfinity and sell and trade energy, propane and fuel to dairy farmers and local producers in our community. I love the fact that we're connected to the agriculture industry. I love the farmers. I love the people that we do business with. We're a support mechanism for them and help them get the things that they need to decrease their inputs so that they can focus on the things that are most important to them, which is their crops, their animals, and the rest of the things that they do in day-to-day operations.
My name's Megan, and I'm an Agfinity customer service representative for energy. I've worked at Agfinity for almost 5 years. The cooperative difference, it's really special. We put extra care into everything that we do because our customers are our neighbors and our friends, and they're really working hard to feed the nation.
My name is Andre Olivier. I'm a custom applicator for the agronomy division. I worked in North Dakota for 7 years. As I'm from South Africa, working in North Dakota was a big thing for us, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. After getting married and relocated, I had to stay in the ag industry because that's where my passion lies.
My name is Melody Hart. I am a billing coordinator for the Accounts Receivable Department. Community involvement is a big deal for Agfinity. Right now we focus on the youth because those are going to be our next growers, producers, leaders. So we do an annual golf tournament in which all the money that we raise from that golf tournament goes to scholarships that help those kids get to their goals too.
Agfinity is building a future where we will continue to be a valued resource for Colorado communities. The cooperative is constantly bustling with activity as producers and growers from all generations explore leading-edge innovations, services, and products that we have to offer. Through the cooperative difference, we are proudly honoring the legacy and building the future.
At this time, I would like to introduce and recognize the hard-working and committed Agfinity board members. Tim Bernhardt, Vice Chairman, District 2. Paul Schlegel, Secretary at Large. Brian Howard, Treasurer, District 1. Tim Getline, Director at Large. Mary Kraft, Director at Large. Gabe Winter, Director, District 3. Josh Cleland, appointed Associate Director, and Ashley Edstrom, appointed Associate Director. I'd like to say thanks to each of you and your families for your time and commitment to serving Agfinity. Next, I'd like to introduce President and CEO, Jason Bransel.
Thank you, Kent. Agfinity's executive leadership team are also integral to the Cooperative's success. Here's the team. Executive Vice President of Shared Services, Jeremy Henkels. Executive Vice President of Agronomy, Mark Malinsky. Executive Vice President of Feed and Grain, Dan Riddle. Executive Vice President of Energy and Retail, Les Lee. Executive Vice President of Sales and Customer Experience, Aaron Smith. Chief Financial Officer, Keith Arnold. I would like to recognize the annual meeting planning committee members. This committee met on a weekly basis and did a fantastic job of putting together this year's virtual meeting. Aaron Smith, Christy Christensen, and Maggie Dilleville. And last, but definitely not least, I would like to give a huge thank you to all 200 Agfinity employee team members. You have worked hard and worked smart in another year full of unique challenges. Thank you for all that you do to support one another and to support our cooperative members.
And thank you to our valued business partners and special guests who are joining us today. We appreciate your continued support and the relationships that help us do what we do. I will now call to order this year's virtual annual meeting. Our quorum requirements for this virtual annual meeting have been achieved in accordance with our bylaws and through our mail-in ballots for director elections. Ballot packets were mailed out to voting members in accordance with the bylaws. In addition, member packages were mailed as of the notice for the 2021 annual meeting. Public notification was also given on the Agfinity website, monthly newsletter, email blasts, and social media. All of those are in accordance with our bylaws. The 2020 annual meeting was held virtually on December 17, 2020, due to the pandemic. The minutes from that meeting are available for your review at the website below. Voting to approve those meeting minutes will be conducted outside of this virtual annual meeting. Now I would like to provide my chairman's report. My fellow cooperative members and customers, first and foremost, I hope this report finds you safe and well. I'm happy to report that your cooperative is financially strong, and although the pandemic did influence business for all of us, through strong leadership and focusing on our mission, vision, and values, we're able to see another profitable year for Agfinity. This has been independently audited and reviewed by the auditing firm of Clifton Larson Allen. During a year full of many challenges and disappointments, this is positive news. It is through these challenging times that the cooperative difference brings greater value and support to us as producers, farmers, and customers of Agfinity. At the heart of the cooperative is the legacy that drives our board of directors to find ways to deliver value to you, the members. It's through the hard work, leadership, and Agfinity division teams that increase the value delivered. As we look to the future of our cooperative, we must never forget the legacy it has been part of. Since 1905, we've remained committed to the core of what founded our cooperative, pooling our resources together to do collectively what challenges us to do individually, making us stronger in a rapid global marketplace. To this day, this collective effort is what brings us together and what sets us apart from many other businesses who compete in this marketplace. As a voting member, we can have our voice heard and our needs met through a cooperative business model that benefits all those who actively participate as members. And I invite you to seek out opportunities to proactively engage with board members and Agfinity employees. It's through all of our efforts that we see the success of our cooperative grow into the future and for the next 100 years. So, until next year, I hope to see you out in the field or have the opportunity to converse with you about what makes Agfinity the cooperative difference. Next on the agenda is the CEO's report.
Thank you, Kent. In last year's report, I talked about thought leaders Warren Bennis and Bert Nannis and their work that was utilized in business and in the Army War College. As you may recall, the acronym associated with their work was VUCA. Let's unpack that again. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. Once again this year, VUCA accurately describes the business, agriculture, domestic, and geopolitical operating environment. We were called upon again to counter VUCA with vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. I am pleased to report, through the strong support of our members and a highly engaged employee team, the cooperative delivered respectable results in the midst of this very challenging operating environment. Back in 2016, we created an initiative that we called One Agfinity. This was very much an internal focus around uniting an employee team, tearing down internal silos, and creating a positive culture of genuine collaboration. This created a foundation for success. It helped us become a great place to work and helped us achieve financial success as a cooperative, a trend of positive local earnings, increased working capital, reduced debt, patronage refunds, and equity retirements for our members. Today, One Agfinity is a core value, and we now leverage this with an internal focus. We do this by bringing a holistic approach to our cooperative members. We can help agricultural producers with agronomy inputs, technology, energy inputs, feed for their livestock, and grain marketing programs that capitalize on opportunities in the marketplace. In short, we help our members sleep better at night through a holistic approach to helping them do, through their cooperative, what would be much more complex without their cooperative. Agfinity is located at the intersection of rural production agriculture and rapidly expanding urban communities. The question isn't, which one do we choose, but rather, how do we embrace both? This is something that many rural cooperatives don't contemplate because they aren't geographically located where this opportunity exists. In fiscal year 2021, Agfinity invested in assets to serve a rapidly expanding urban population and invested in assets to serve rural production agriculture. For Agfinity, it isn't this or that. It is this and that. We help farmers feed the world. This is our past, present, and our future. Collaboration and a shared vision to serve a diverse member base are force multipliers. Let's turn to our annual meeting theme for a moment. Honoring the legacy, building the future. Webster defines legacy as something that happened in the past, or that comes from someone in the past. It took a great deal of courage and vision to create a cooperative in the early 1900s. We all benefit today from that courage, and we owe those founding members a debt of gratitude. As we look to the future, we know that it will require courage to keep building this fine cooperative to ensure that it has another 100 years of growth and success. When we look back over the decades at the great things that have been accomplished across the globe, we gain clarity. For me, that clarity is, it all starts with a conversation. In a world of electronic one-way communication and hyperbole, we need to challenge one another to start more conversations and be willing to spend some time, both talking and listening. The result of this is building a better, brighter future. Imagine the conversation in 1905 when ordinary people did something extraordinary, something that took courage, and started a conversation about creating a cooperative that would make things better for future members for many years to come. Investing time, leveraging a small amount of patience, and respectfully sharing ideas requires personal sacrifice. But we know it is worth it. I truly believe that we can all lead courageously while being kind and courteous. It all starts with a conversation. I offer my gratitude to our members, our engaged employees, our committed board of directors, and our many business partners. Thank you for creating a successful year by rallying around a shared vision, seeking to understand, gaining clarity, and building agility. Well done, and thank you. Next on the agenda is the financial report.
Hello, and welcome to the financial reporting segment of Agfinity's 2021 virtual annual meeting. My name is Keith Arnold, and I am Chief Financial Officer. We will begin our financial review highlighting results from Agfinity's statement of operations. The challenges and uncertain economic conditions caused by COVID-19 that we saw in fiscal 2020 continued into fiscal 2021. Agfinity sales were over $186 million for fiscal year 2021, compared to $219 million in the prior year. Gross profit was $28.4 million, compared to $32.6 million in fiscal year 2020. However, current year gross profit was 15.2% of sales, compared to 14.9% in the prior year. Total operating expenses were $27.8 million, compared with $30.8 million in fiscal year 2020, which is a decrease of nearly $3 million. Agfinity's loan of $2.3 million through the Paycheck Protection Program was forgiven in the spring, and this was recognized in other income for fiscal year 2021. Overall, the year ended with a local net savings of $3.6 million compared to $1.8 million in the prior year. Net savings of $4.7 million for fiscal year 2021 was $2.2 million lower than prior year. Agfinity's earnings history continues to remain stable and is achieving positive results of local net savings for each of the past 5 years. Moving on to the balance sheet. Total assets increased by $3.1 million as a result of ongoing investments in our facilities and rolling stock. Total liabilities increased by about $700,000, primarily driven by estimates of deferred income taxes. Here's some key balance sheet metrics. Working capital, which measures a company's liquidity, operational efficiency, and short-term financial health, was $15.8 million for fiscal year 2021. The current ratio, which measures the ratio of current assets to current liabilities, was 1.7. This is consistent with prior year's current ratio of 1.7. In plain English, this ratio of 1.7 means for every $1 of current liabilities, such as accounts payable and seasonal line of credit borrowings, Agfinity has $1.70 of liquid assets to cover those liabilities. The long-term debt to equity percentage increased modestly from 3.9% to 4.4% as a result of Agfinity's participation in a financing program offered by CHS for C-store upgrades. Other financial highlights include Agfinity's investment in capital projects totaling over $6 million. The total capital outlay was deployed across all divisions and for facilities, rolling stock, and technology-related projects. In summarizing Agfinity's fiscal year 2021 financial performance, local and net earnings continue to remain positive for the past 5 years. Working capital is well above the guidelines for cooperatives like Agfinity. Cash returned to members through cash patronage and equity retirement refunds has been substantial, with over $9.5 million in cash returned to our members over the last 5 years. Your cooperative is financially strong and poised for growth. I would also like to give you some additional detail on this year's patronage refund. Agfinity, based on fiscal year 2021 member business, will pay $1.3 million in patronage refunds. 50%, or $655,000, will be paid in cash, with the remaining 50% issued in qualified notices of allocated equity. Section 199A deduction will be utilized fully at the cooperative level, which drives tax efficiency. A patronage refund like this is not possible without the strong support of its members. We call this the cooperative difference. Thank you for your continued patronage of Agfinity. Thank you for attending the financial reporting segment of Agfinity's 2021 virtual annual meeting.
Thank you, Keith. The next portion of our annual meeting is typically the Q&A session. We believe that transparency and communication are of the utmost importance at Agfinity. During the meeting registration, you were able to submit your questions and should have already received a direct response from Agfinity. As previously mentioned, we will also post a Q&A summary on our website so all members can benefit by your questions and our answers. We welcome your questions, ideas, and feedback 365 days a year. So please reach out at any time. We are here to help and greatly appreciate member engagement.
Next on the agenda are election results. There were 3 board seats up for election this year, 2 at-large and 1 for District 1. All positions are for a 3-year term. Now I ask Gabe Winter, board member and chair of the nominating committee, to give the report. Gabe?
Serving on the nominating committee this year were myself as committee chair and cooperative member Ross Basher. Numerous cooperative members and prospective candidates were contacted in connection with this year's director election. All candidates on the ballot met the requirements set forth in the bylaws and policies of Agfinity. All were willing to serve and fulfill the duties of a director as stated within the bylaws and policies. Certified Public Accounting Firm, CLA, reviewed all ballots per the bylaws set forth by the Board of Directors for Agfinity and have tallied the results of this year's election. For the first at-large position, Paul Schlegel has been re-elected. For the second at-large position, Tim Gitline has been re-elected. Brian Howard has been re-elected for the District 1 position.
Thank you, Gabe, and congratulations to this year's elected board members. And thanks to all of those who have joined us today for our virtual annual meeting. You're at the heart of this cooperative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you for another great year.
For another great year.
Thank you for another great year
of doing business
Of doing business
Doing business with your local cooperative.